I am Aligar Lingappa, Assistant Professor in Physics, Government First Grade College, Siruguppa. Today, I will discuss about Geiger-Muller counter. What is Geiger-Muller counter? The construction of Geiger-Muller counter, the working of Geiger-Muller counter, and then its applications. So, which is under the chapter Nuclear Instruments. Geiger-Muller counter. So, in 1928, Geiger and Muller in Germany developed the counter, and which was described in 1908 by Rutherford and Geiger when they evaluated the charge carried by an alpha particle. This counter is thus named as Geiger-Muller counter. This apparatus is used to detect the radiation of alpha, beta, gamma, and cosmic rays. So here the Geiger-Muller counter, the nuclear instrument which is used to detect the radioactive radiations. So alpha radiation, beta radiation, and gamma radiations. It was discovered by Geiger and Muller in 1928. The Geiger-Muller counter is used to measure the intensity of the radioactive radiations. When nuclear radiations pass through gas, ionization is produced. So this is the principle of this device. So this is a gas-filled counter or a detector. When the radioactive radiations, say nuclear radiations, if they are made to pass through certain gases, then which produces ionization. So this is the principle of Geiger-Muller counter. So this is what about the construction of GM counter. The GM tube consists of a metal tube E. Say E is the metal tube with glass envelope C acting as the cathode. So here the GM tube consists of a metal tube. So in that diagram where EE, that indicates the metal tube with a glass envelope. That means the metal tube which is covered with glass envelope acting as the cathode, and a fine tungsten wire W along the axis of the tube. Say where W, that indicates the axis of the tube. So fine tungsten wire is fixed along the axis of the tube, which acts as anode. So just as shown in the above diagram. So the tube is well insulated from the anode wire, where the tube which acts as a cathode, the tube is, that means the wire which acts as anode. So the tube is filled with an inert gas like argon at a low pressure. One end is fitted with a thin mica sheet and this end acts as a window through which radiations enter the tube. A high potential difference of about 1,000 volts is applied between the electrodes, between tube and wire through a high resistance R of about 100 mega ohm. So usually the tube which is filled with inert gas like argon, one end of the tube is fitted with a thin mica sheet, and this end acts as a window through which radiations enter the tube. A high potential difference of about 1,000 volts is applied between the electrodes through a high resistance R of about 100 mega ohm. So this is what about the construction of Geiger-Müller count. Then what about the working of Geiger-Müller count? So now we have discussed about the working of Geiger-Müller count. When an ionizing radiation enters the counter, so the primary ionization takes place and a few ions are produced. These ions are accelerated with a greater energy due to the high potential difference, and they cause further ionization, and these ions are multiplied by further collisions. When an ionizing radiation, say alpha, beta or gamma radiation, if they enters the counter, there must be a collision between gas molecules and the particles in the radiation, so which produced primary ionization. At that moment, few ions are produced. And these ions which are accelerated with a greater energy due to high potential difference applied between the two electrodes. Again, these highly energized energy particles, that means ions, they cause further collisions, further ionization. Again, these ions are multiplied by further collisions. So like this, the multiple ionization process which occur inside the tube, that means in the tube of Geiger-Müller counter. Thus, an avalanche of electrons is produced in a short interval of time. This avalanche of electrons on reaching the anode, so because anode is a positively charged electrode, the electrons which are produced are liberated during the process of ionization. So they are attracted by the anode, so called the electrons on reaching the anode generates a current pulse, which when passing through or through high resistance develop a potential difference. So again, this is amplified by electronic circuits and is used to operate an electronic counter. So what about the current pulse generates which are passing through R resistance, which develops a potential difference. This is amplified by electronic circuits and is used to operate an electronic counter. The counts in the counter is directly proportional to the intensity of the ionizing radiation. So this is a very important sentence. The counts in the counter is directly proportional to the intensity of the ionizing radiation. If the intensity of the ionizing radiation is more, the number of counting in the Geiger-Müller counter is also more. So the ionization of the gas is independent of the type of the incident radiation. So ionization of the gas is independent of the type of the incident radiation, which depend only on the intensity of the incident radiation. Which depends only on the intensity of the incident radiation, which is independent of type of the incident radiation, maybe alpha radiation, maybe beta, maybe gamma. Hence, GM counter does not distinguish the type of radiation that enters the chamber. So here the GM counter, which counts whatever the number of radiations which are entering into the tube, but which does not distinguish the type of radiation that enters the chamber. It may be alpha radiation, maybe beta radiation, or maybe gamma radiation, which does not distinguish the type of radiation. So this is one of the demerit of the Geiger-Müller counter. So the Geiger-Müller counter, which counts the number of radiations or particles which are entering into the chamber, which does not give an idea about the type of radiations which entering into the tube. So now we have discussed about the Plato graph of Geiger-Müller counter. If you plot a graph counting rate versus applied voltage, so then what about the graph which obtained is known as Plato graph? Say starting a voltage, initially the count rate that must be equal to 0. As the voltage increases, so proportional discharge are risen. So now you see the diagram. Here as the voltage increases, at a particular stage, the counting in the Geiger-Müller counter becomes constant. That particular voltage is called Geiger threshold voltage. So further, as the voltage increases, the counting rate gradually increases constant so-called operating voltage. So then after that the counting rate gradually increases. So at a particular voltage, as the voltage, upload voltage increases, at a particular voltage, the counting rate increases rapidly. That particular point, the corresponding upload voltage is known as Geiger breakdown voltage. So after that, the counting rate increases, so-called continuous discharge replica. So, continuous discharge region. So this is what about starting voltage, proportional discharge region, Geiger threshold voltage, then operating voltage, Geiger breakdown voltage, continuous discharge region. So this is what about the nature of the graph obtained if a plot a graph counting rate versus applied voltage. Plato graph of Geiger-Müller counter. So there is a threshold voltage below which the tube does not work. This can be several hundred volts. After this, the number of pulses is proportional to the voltage. This region is known as a proportional region. If the applied voltage is increased further, then a point will be reached after which the count rate remains constant over a certain region. So this region is known as Plato region or Geiger region. This region is used for Geiger-Müller operation. So what we saw in the above diagram, so below threshold voltage, so the tube which does not work. So because of that, we must require several hundred volts to operate the Geiger-Müller counter. After threshold voltage, the number of pulses is proportional to the voltage. This region is known as a proportional region. If the applied voltage is increased further, then it can be reached a point. So after that point, the count rate remains constant over a certain region. Such a region is called Plato region or Geiger region. This region is used for Geiger-Müller operation. Behind the Plato region, the applied electric field is so high that a continuous discharge takes place in the tube and the count rate increases very rapidly. Behind the Plato region, the applied electric field is so high that a continuous discharge takes place in the tube and the count rate increases very rapidly. It does not require any ionization event to happen, so that the tube must not be used in this region. The Geiger-Müller counter can account for about 500 particles per second. The Geiger-Müller counter will not register those particles that passes through it in the dead time. Then what is dead time? Where the dead time refers to the time taken by the tube to recover between counts. So, it requires about 200 microseconds for the tube to recover. Where 200 microseconds, that means the time required to recover the tube in the Geiger-Müller counter. If a lot of particles enter the GM tube at a rapid rate, the tube will not have time to recover and some particles may not be counted. So this is another drawback of Geiger-Müller counter. Here the Geiger-Müller counter which can count for about 400 particles per second. The efficiency of the counter is defined as the ratio of the observed counts per second to the number of ionizing particles entering the counter per second. So the efficiency of the GM counter, which can be defined as, it is a ratio of the observed counts per second to the number of ionizing particles entering the counter per second. It is the ratio between the number of counts in the GM counter to the number of particles entering into the chamber. Counting efficiency is defined as the ability of counting of the GM counter. So the ability, the efficiency, that means the ability of counting of GM counter. That is what the efficiency of GM counter. Then what are the advantages of GM counter? So first one, the counter set up in a portable and serve best for mineral prospecting apart from its several other applications in cosmic ray work. A virtual of the GM counter is that of the pulse's height is constant over a range of applied voltage, so that power supply does not have to be precisely regulated as it does for a proportional counter. So these are the advantages of GM counter. Then what are the disadvantages of GM counter? It is sensitive for a period of 200 to 400 microseconds following each pulse, which prevents its use at high counting rates. So earlier what we discussed, the GM counter which counts only 500 per second. That means the rate of counting of GM counter. So it is in a sensitive for a period of 200 to 400 microseconds following each pulse, which prevents its use at high counting rates. Second, It cannot provide information about the particles or photon causing a pulse. So that means the GM counter, which does not give an idea about the type of radiation which entering into the tube of the GM counter. So called, these are the disadvantages of GM counter. Applications of GM counter. It is used to detect radioactive rocks and minerals in the course of mineral prospecting. So GM counter usually used to detect radioactive rocks and minerals in the course of mineral prospecting. It is used for fire responders for making an initial determination of radiation disk. It is used for hazard management personnel in checking for radiation danger in an emergency situation. So, used for hazard management personnel. It is used to check for environmental levels of radioactivity near a nuclear power facility. So usually the counter which is used to check the environmental level of radioactivity near nuclear power plant. It is used to test for danger amidst a nuclear accident or a leakage of radioactive coolant. That means in case of nuclear reactors. It is used to check for radioactive contamination of clothing and shoes in your workplace. If suppose laborers, if they are working in the radioactive, that means nuclear power plant, then the Geiger-Müller counter, which is used to check for radioactive contamination of clothing and shoes in your workplace, in the workplace. So that means another application of Geiger-Müller counter. It is used in the radiation detection in the scrap metal processing business. It is used to check possible leakage or exposure to X-rays in a medical facility, to check for radiation in areas where depleted uranium ammunition cells have been used. Uranium ammunition cells have been used. They are used to check for irradiated gemstones in the jewelry trade. So, a gem counter usually used to check for irradiated gemstones in the jewelry trades. Jewelry trade, that means gemstones where the Geiger-Müller counter, they are used to check for irradiated gemstones in the jewelry trade. They are used to check the levels of iodine 131 in a cancer patients undergoing a radiation therapy. You are in close proximity to a uranium mine and want to test the soil and environment for dangerous levels of radioactivity. They are used to test for radioactive contamination of food. They are used to check materials in your anthropology or archaeology field. So these are some of the applications of Geiger-Muller count. So in this class we have discussed about what is Geiger-Muller counter, what is the principle of Geiger-Muller counter, construction of Geiger-Muller counter, working of Geiger-Muller counter, then advantages and disadvantages, then applications of Geiger-Muller counter, and so on. Thank you.